Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
And I'm Veronica.
And we talk about everything Bachelor.
This episode we're covering quintessential Bachelor Nation dates.
What?
Impending hometowns.
Whoa.
Crazy. And new ladies making their mark on the beach.
Yeah, and this is episode 287. Let's go! Yes, welcome to the show, everybody. Shout out to our old listeners, shout out to our new listeners, shout out to our gold listeners. We before we get going into Bachelor Nation like we like to do on the show, Veronica, I need to know, how are you doing? What's been going on with you?
You know, we're fully in the swing of fall here in Atlanta, which, though it's still been warmer, but it's been getting chillier in the evenings and mornings and stuff. So we're making it. But, my ladies have been feeling the fall vibes. So I did kind of a couple of little fall girls' nights this past week with a couple different groups of friends, just, having some fall treats and hanging out. And just like feeling the crisp in the air and enjoying not sweating our asses off. So that's always fun. And then I went to Pontoon Brewing because it's closing because their distribution partner is not paying them anymore. And it's one of my boyfriend's favorite breweries, and I like it and I haven't been in a while. So we went there with a couple of his friends last weekend to get some, the last bits of beer. Hopefully they'll be able to come back, but we'll have to see. But what about you?
Fun.
You've been busy.
Yeah, I mean, opening weekend went great for Sweeney Todd. We've been sold out. We pretty much sold out this weekend too, so it's been
wow.
It's been really fun. They added a matinee show on Saturday because their demand was so high. So
the demand,
yeah,
supply and demand.
Literally, you got one chance to come see the show if you haven't bought tickets yet, and it would be the matinee at 2 p.m. on Saturday to see Sweeney Todd. The show is amazing. I die in it, so I go down the chair. I get killed by Sweeney. Pretty epic.
Oh my God, you die? That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's. I have probably the most entertaining death, I feel like, in the sense of like when I die. For some reason, people always laugh. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
maybe you're just acting your death out,
I am. But it's like I'm hearing the crowd laugh right before I die, and then I go down to shoot, and then my cast is laughing at me on the other end. So it's a good old time. Definitely, everyone's killing it, and we're having fun doing the run. So yeah, exactly. So, but enough of all that. Why don't we just hop into what we like to do around here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's that time to talk about the Golden Bachelor in Paradise. Yes, but before we get talking about the Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise, YouTube, I'm going to need you to go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content just like this. And if you just did, oh man, huge shout out to you. Ooh-wee, air horns for you. We have to shout out to our comment crew, and those are the people leaving comments, sweet comments below our videos. And, we have to shout out the Nancy Drew crew. We got Catherine Ann repping in there. Of course, we got Marion SP, coming in as probably one of our number one fans because we love Marion SP. And then returning into comments, we got Sunny Days and also Pretty Jane, who, I felt like she felt kind of bad about calling me out on my ick of gum chewing 2 episodes ago. If you guys want to kind of see what that was about, you can go back and check. But I've learned from my mistakes, Pretty Jane. I think we've gotten to a good place. So I love you, and I appreciate you. You too can get a shout out on our show. All you got to do is leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.
All you got to do is talk about our icks.
Yeah, I mean, please don't start that and open that floodgate, Veronica. Just leave a comment telling us how much you love us, or what you love about about the show. And if it's anything else, I'm sure it'll get called out too. But yeah, we love you all, so appreciate you interacting with us. I love our little tribe we're growing here on our channel. So shout out to all you. Veronica, where do you want to begin with this week's episode? You know, week 5. Let's start with the Golden Bachelor.
Start with the Golden Batch. You know, the ladies are enjoying their time in the mansion. Jesse comes in. He lets them know that this week they've got a magical, once-in-a-lifetime one-on-one date happening. And they're like, oh, shit. And then he's like, and then a group date, too. And next week is hometown. So 3 of you are going home.
Yeah, it really felt like whiplash. Like, you know, it happens sometimes when you're watching this, but you're like, boo, boo, boo. We're hometowns. Yeah. We just started this show. Where did all the women go?
Right. Like, it literally was crazy that there's only 6 of them left.
Yeah.
And when he's all like, 3 of you are going home because only 3 of you are going to hometowns, you could tell the ladies who have watched this show and who have seen a lot of, like, hometowns with 4 people, they're all like, oh, shoot. Like, that's half of us.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
And they're only doing 3, right? So not 4.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. It's half of them because there's only 6 of them left.
They were assuming 4, so you know that's why you don't assume. You know what they say about assuming, right?
You know what they say.
Yeah, I think we all know. I've been hearing it since I was a kid. Actually, I don't know why they say that so much as a kid. Anyways, so we get our first one-on-one. And who is it?
It's with Faith, which we could tell it was going to be with her because her bit for the last 2 weeks has been how, you know, she got the first impression rose, but she's worried about her connection with Gerry and if it's grown or where it's at because she hasn't had that alone time with him. And I mean, he's going into it too, being all like, you know, I gave her the first impression rose. Things were red hot from the beginning, but like I want to see if like has our relationship maxed out or, you know, is it going to continue? Like, is this going to make sense? And because it's a very typical one-on-one before hometowns where it's like this is kind of like the make or break, like, you know, clarity, as you will, one-on-one. This episode like really hits all the main Bachelor Nation high points because, you know, we're looking for clarity. We're prepping for impending hometowns. We're hitting up for this once-in-a-lifetime magical date. We're going on a helicopter ride. So, like, in the frame of this show, for us as viewers and as podcasters around it, this doesn't feel very magical once-in-a-lifetime anymore because we see it at least once a season.
Yeah, this is Bachelor Nation in a nutshell.
Yes, it is indeed.
So, I mean, we get the, but we know Faith. Like, Faith is, I mean, she was obviously a front runner from the beginning. She's showing a lot of charisma and personality the whole time.
Right.
First impression rose goes far. I think, you know, he just had to get to know the other women to really, you know, he knew in the back of his head, like a couple women that were, you know, gonna make it, I feel like, and Faith was one of them. So, you know, they do their thing. Nothing too crazy out of this date. I don't know. Did you pick up anything besides the helicopter? I think they did.
You know, they do the helicopter. They do the drive-by. Leslie's back at the mansion freaking out, which I always kind of get Leslie and Faith confused because they look kind of similar.
I think Leslie is the hottie of of the women. I don't know. She just seems to dress like, you know, more contemporary or, you know, like the young women dress, you know, these days.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting to see Faith on this date wearing like a crop top. I was like, okay, Faith, go off, queen.
Yeah. Like when you're starting to see midriff and stuff, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
So I can see why Gary's having a hard time. Is it Gerry?
Right.
Gerry?
Especially because he talks about, like, you know, he was looking to make sure it wasn't just the physicality. And I was like, damn, Gerry, okay. You were just like, you know, feeling that boing, like for Faith, but now you're feeling something deeper for her because she talks a little bit about her past and like how she, you know, kind of grew up semi-homeless as a teenager and bopping around and, you know, didn't really have a good home growing up. And, you know, that's why she's gotten into her music and things like that. But, I mean, she gets the one-on-one rose. They're making out the entire time on this boat that they land on with the helicopter. And, of course, she had a fear of heights. So, I mean, of course, she was taken on the helicopter. And, you know, she comes back to the ladies with rose in hand. And, you know, they're like, tell us about it. And she's like, I don't know if you want me to tell you. Like, it was great. Like, and so then she's going in talking about, like, you know, the ride and them being in the hot tub. And it's so funny because Ellen, like, in her little confessional, is all like, I didn't need to hear about the hot tub party. Like, hot tubs make it serious. And I was like, that is the most Bachelor Nation comment ever, because it's like, we got hot tubs on hot tubs. Like,
yeah,
you know,
but
like,
I understand where she's coming from, actually, because hot tub is pretty intimate. You know what I'm saying?
it is pretty intimate. You're in a soup of hot water.
Yes, I mean, at the very least, it's a hand on a naked thigh. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel Ellen's pain there. So where do we go next?
So then next we have our group date. And once again, it's a classic in Bachelor Nation lore. It's the, you know, inner child act like a big kid date, which I feel like they kind of spun it as more of like inner child for these folks instead of like for, you know, the young people, the normal bachelor and bachelorette. They spin it as more of a like, we're going to act like big kids today. And so they're at Santa Monica Pier. They're playing the games. They're going on the rides. It's a big time moment for, you know, some people to make their moves or confirm their spot, because they're trying to make sure, you know, one rose is already taken. There's only 2 more left, and you trying to make sure they're vying for that group date rose. And they're trying the hardest. They're either confirming feelings or fully expressing feelings. So Theresa's the first, and she pulls him to the side, and they're talking about how they really, you know, have been vibing, and like how she really thinks this is going somewhere between them, and she hasn't felt this way with anybody, blah, 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 blah. Like, she really wants to introduce him to her family. And then she says that she's falling in love with him. Mm-hmm. And I will say Gerry's been so trained, because he is so good about, like, he doesn't show his cards. He doesn't say, like, me too or whatever. He very much so. It's almost like in some of these moments, I almost feel like he's too trained, because he's all like, I really appreciate you telling me that. Like, and it's like, that's nice. That is, but it is definitely it
felt different with when he did it with Ellen. I'll say that.
Right.
I felt bad. I don't know why, but I was like, ooh, like.
I got vibes that, like, he wasn't, like, his heart wasn't in it.
Yeah,
like,
but he was still saying, like, things that would lead her on, I felt like, you know?
Right. Like, it felt like he's like, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Like, I think we could work out. Like, it just felt like but it felt like he wasn't in it. When I was watching it and doing the tipsy talks on our Instagram, I was all like, seems like he's just placating her right now. Like, it didn't feel like he was really reciprocating, and she thought he was. And I was like, well, maybe she knows something I don't, because that's not what I'm getting from this.
I like Ellen, though. She's really sweet, you know, and funny.
I mean, this wasn't Ellen, though. This was Theresa who was saying.
Oh, no. But I am talking about when he did it with Ellen, though. Like, you know,
with Ellen, they definitely. I felt like that was an emotional moment for Ellen, for sure.
Yeah. You know, I also think like Gerry made the right move as far as like just saving that rose for the rose ceremony.
Right.
You know, he seemed very conflicted in that moment. So maybe he was just kind of like processing everything.
Right.
So that brings us to the rose ceremony. This is kind of crazy, man. Like, this show goes by really fast. I don't know if an hour format.
It is fast.
Do you think before we get into the rose ceremony, how do you feel like the hour format is going for this show? For you personally?
I mean, it does feel quick in some ways. I mean, I think in the general view of knowing that I have 3 hours of content to watch on a Thursday night, I enjoy it, because it does feel like quick, and I can like get through it and like whatever. I kind of feel like they're not showing us as much content as they could be. I get it, like they're tossing a lot of ads in there still, so like we're really only getting like, I don't know, like maybe like 40 minutes of actual content, if that. And I feel like, I don't know if they're doing their best job of grabbing all of those best moments. Like, I almost would rather we didn't start with these you know, snippets of what we're seeing at the beginning and just like get into it, because I mean, I even hate it on a lot of these, like on the other shows, the 2-hour shows where they're all like tonight on whatever, and then like they do, I'm like, just let me just watch the show. Like I just want to see the stuff. Like I don't, especially because like then at the end of Bachelor in Paradise, or even at the end of any of these shows, they really preview what we're seeing next week.
Yeah,
and
like the beginning of the show is the ending of the last show, like, you know. And
Right.
I think the thing that would make this better, as opposed to, like, I don't mind the 1 hour, because I feel like between the
Me
1
neither.
hour and the 2 hour, like the 2 hour, you're still feeling like you didn't see enough of these people, but it's also like they dragged on this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the thing that would work is to keep it 1 hour, but extend the season a little longer. So you're like, maybe you're with people for like a month or two, like, you know, or 2 months, like 2 months. Damn, 2 months is what they're doing, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what could make this feel
I
like
think
we're
there's
more.
a way to extend it or whatever that would make it better. And I think if there's a way for them to be, I know like a ton of editing goes into these shows, just like there's hours and hours and hours of content that they're filming, and they have to really like consolidate and get the best bits. I just don't think they've been doing the best at it with this show in mind. Like I get that they're trying to like build up the stories of these people, but I feel like there's still parts that I'm missing, or I'm seeing some of the same shit. Like I felt like, you know, the Kathy Theresa bit kept dragging on the last couple of episodes. I feel like they focus on, for this show, they might just focus on rehashing a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I don't really, like, there's definitely other moments that we're missing that I think would be
There's just
more,
no drama either. Like there was a little bit, but like, are we only gonna get one scene of drama this whole season? Like, you know, these women just seem to really be like nice people, and it's like hard to get drama out of this, in which I think maybe like kind of like an important part of this show.
Right.
But I don't know. Let's go on to our rose ceremony. You know, how many women are going home? 3, 4?
So three women are going home, 3 women are staying. He has the 2 roses there since he didn't give the rose out on the group date, which I think rightfully so, because it would have been awkward. I mean, for just the flow of the show, it would have been weird to have a rose ceremony for 1 rose. Like, I just, at that point, come on.
Yeah.
So the first rose goes to Leslie, which makes sense because, like, they definitely had a moment at the amusement park at the pier where he confirmed, you know, making her feel better, making her feel wanted and, you know, special, because she was feeling some kind of way about not being chosen for that one-on-one. And
she was just chosen for the one-on-one last week, wasn't she?
Right, exactly. But he definitely has a soft spot for Leslie. So he gives her that first rose, which makes sense. And then it's really in between Theresa and Ellen, because we know that Susan and Sandra, he hasn't really had the same connection with. So it's really, been back and forth between, like, you know, Ellen saying, like, she said how she was, you know, falling in love with him, and Theresa saying how she had said that she had fallen in love with him. So there's a lot online for both of them, how they really want to bring him home to their families, and Theresa ends up getting that last rose. So Susan, Sandra, and Ellen are going home.
You know, I did think like Theresa was gonna go far, but I feel like she might be next on the chopping block.
I think so, like, because I did not read from his interaction with her at the pier that she, you know, is the one. I do feel like it's more between Leslie and Faith, which is funny because I feel like they really are the ones that look the most alike. And it is funny because, like, he only has like brunettes left. So
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to Leslie and Faith for sure, I believe, but we'll see. Hometowns could give it a spin over there at Golden Bachelor. So, but why don't we just hop right into season 9, week 5 of Bachelor in Paradise. You know, we're finally getting the rose ceremony. We were robbed from last week.
Right.
And right before that, though, the Paradise Gods have spoken.
the Paradise Gods have spoken, and they sent down new Sam from Bachelor in Paradise season 2 Canada.
Yep.
So
we had
send her down.
We had the Sam before that had the poop baby. Now we have Sam P.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Just had to make a little stupid joke. Anyway, so yeah, the guys are, down there kind of sweating. We got Sean, we got Aaron, and they're both just kind of like
trying
praying.
to spit game.
And,
just trying to spit game.
And Spencer, Sean obviously, is out here like by the skin of his teeth trying to stay on the island. I really thought it might be him, from the previews of last week, but he doesn't really have a chance because he is 26 and she is 34, and she thinks that he could be her son.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know if your frontal cortex is fully fused and developed together yet. I think he just did, and I don't know if I'm here for it. So,
but I did find out that Sean is actually from the same area that I'm from. He was like Saratoga, Albany area. That's where around the area I live and stuff. So
that's crazy. And then he lives in Florida, just like how you lived in Florida.
Yep, he
just
transplanted to Tampa. So she is kind of Bachelorette in Paradise at the moment, with all the guys just like really trying to shoot their last shot before this rose ceremony because she has a rose. And so we get to the rose ceremony. It goes down. Most people are making their decisions. It really comes down to Mercedes' pick and who's the other big pick?
Olivia.
And Olivia.
They're the main ones who, had choices to make. And in both cases, they picked, their second date, their second guy. So Olivia chose John Henry. Mercedes picked Tyler over Will, which
I think
honestly,
John Henry was a good choice. I don't know about the Mercedes and Tyler.
I don't know about that with Tyler and Will. I mean, Will had been through it. I really liked Will and Mercedes vibe together. I definitely saw how her and Tyler vibed, but I just felt like her and Will was more the pure, they really saw each other, where I feel like her and Tyler was more lusty, which no hate, no shade, it is paradise, but
sure. But I'm gonna piggyback off that. Mercedes, I felt like had a good edit going for her with the Will thing. She was kind of like a dark horse, and came out of nowhere, didn't care that this guy has already gone through 2 other women in a span of a day, but really made him feel like
one of them being her best friend.
Yeah, and then really pick him up to drop him real hard when Tyler came down, and I feel like she's just doing it because they want this whole little foursome of her and Tyler, and because he's best friends with Avon, and I guess if that's the case, but poor Will, you for the whole first couple episodes, this guy's just straight up look very depressed and color flushed from his face.
Paradise was rough for Will. I mean, he's all I'm upset, but at that point, I feel like he's going home. He's all I gotta get out of this place. So.
Yeah, and same thing with Bachelor in Paradise, they did with the Golden Bachelor. It's whiplash again because they're talking about how when Sam P came down, it's you're coming in late. It's really? I don't feel like she's coming in late. It doesn't feel like that.
And she's coming in late in the sense that she literally is coming in just to give out a rose. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we get our first rose ceremony, and we get Sean.
And she gives her rose out to Peter. I don't know if we said that.
Yeah, she gives her rose to Peter, which
I thought was a weird choice.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well.
Why are we keeping Peter around? I don't get it.
She likes Peter. I
don't know if she really likes Peter. I felt like that was a move to kind of keep the whole Olivia, John Henry, Peter situation going.
I think she should have given a rose to Sean. Although I don't really like Sean that much, I do think he's kind of perfect Paradise people.
He is good Paradise material.
It's
he has
he'll
a lot
say
of
cringy
commentary.
stuff. Yeah, he says cringy stuff. He was a good voice person. He's broing out.
Yeah.
He got a lot of screen time this season. And I didn't really like him before, but it's Paradise has a weird thing of doing that to people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually don't mind Aaron B and stuff like right now and everything.
Right.
So,
Aaron B has been doing well on this.
and I felt
hated
very
him
happy
on-
for Aaron B getting picked by Eliza. Like, that was, it was satisfying to see them because they do make a cute couple, you know?
They do.
So,
They do.
anyways, yeah, John B goes home, Aaron S goes home, Will goes home, and Sean goes home. And then we come to the next day. It is Kat's 27th birthday, and I love this. I love watching it. The producers were just gonna knock her down all the way through. So, you know, I guess I'll just start with like the date card coming, and obviously her ex Brayden gets picked by Rachel, who gets the date card, and that was the first thing to set Kat off, because she really thought her just like being like, I want the date card on my birthday. She really thought that was gonna work.
She really thought it was going to happen. But Rachel is like a former bachelorette, and she hadn't gotten a date card yet. Like, Rachel deserved it at that point.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally. But I mean, it was so poetic. Like, you know, you can't really write it any better than this. You know, just let's go at Kat. That's what the producers were doing. They were not going to try to prop her up on a pedestal. They were going to knock her down. And yeah, so you could see her starting to kind of like spiral. And then another woman comes down, right?
Yeah, so they go out on their date, and they're, you know, having their fun, but we'll get back to that in a second. But Davia comes down.
I mean, they don't do anything really too crazy. They paint each
I guess
other.
we could just said it. They paint each other. They act like they're pinatas. They're having a lot of fun. They both open up about how, like, you know, Rachel felt like she was being too serious there from the beginning, and then Brayden, you know, was obviously in a sour mood after everything went down with Kat, and they break out of their serious shells, and they make out a bunch, and they have fun, and they're throwing candy around, and, you know, they're honestly, I like them when they're together. I think they're really fun. I think they kind of show like what Paradise is all about. Like, they're making the best out of situations, and they're just having a good time.
Yeah, and I do think like Rachel and Brayden are a good fit.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I think they're a good fit. So, you know, I'm happy to see that. I didn't like how Blake was describing them though. Like,
I'm like, what? I feel like Blake is out here acting like he knows everything because he's been on like 4 of these shows now.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, just because you kept coming back doesn't mean that you know anything. Like, he's being all like, you know, I don't want Brayden to like dive into head first because Rachel really wants to take things slow. And like, I'm worried that he's going to like, you know, whatever. I'm like, bro, worry about your own relationship because we'll get to that later. But
I think it's really telling because I think he's trying to get that grocery store Joe edit, like the elder on the beach, and then it's just like it doesn't feel good. Like, Blake doesn't feel good because he has Jess, and it feels like he doesn't appreciate it, you know?
No, I really, yeah, it feels like, yeah, there's nothing, we'll get to that, I guess.
Okay.
But Davia comes down with her date card, and she, you know, looking cute, looking fun, looking fit, and she asserts to Jesse how, you know, she's interested in Tanner. So she's going down, eyes on Tanner, and, you know, says her little date card, pulls him for a convo, which Kat is not pleased with because she's like, it's my fucking birthday.
Yeah, she's like, happy birthday to me.
Yeah, like, Davia comes down looking hot, like, you know, looks at my man, takes him for a conversation. They're on a conversation for a while, brings him back, and pretty much is all like, well, I'm trying to be direct and like straightforward and straight to the point here, and so I'm not going to talk to anybody else. So, Tanner, want to go on this date with me?
Yeah, I mean, Kat, I think these are the moments where Kat unravels because she's really good at presenting herself in this light that is fake. Like, it's just like she's a fake person. Like, she just is like, oh, like, you know, you think she's like a sweet, like, pretty girl.
She's really passive aggressive. Like, she acts like she doesn't care, but she cares a lot.
Oh,
like,
yeah. The second she doesn't get it her way, you just see her personality switch to this, like very selfish, like, type of person. And I don't know. It's very satisfying to see. I don't know. This seems like the perfect like thing. It's almost like a dog pile on her, you know, from the producers. But I don't know. Maybe sometimes on the other end of this, like you can end up like having some type of empathy for her. But I don't know if I'll get there yet, because it just seems like I just need to hear what happens in the rest of the episode. Like, because with all transparency, I didn't get to watch like the last like 45 minutes of the show, because I had my show last night and we were recording in really early in the morning. So Veronica, you're going to have to kind of let me know what happens here.
Yeah, so with the whole Kat and Tanner thing, obviously Tanner pops up and he's all like, yeah, sure. Doesn't hesitate, is really ready to go on this date with Davia. And so then Tanner and Kat go and talk, and, you know, she's kind of passive aggressive. She's like, if that's what you want to do, I mean, I'm not going to stop you. And I'm like, she wants him to say like, no, I'm not going to go on this date on your birthday. But he already said yes. And so that's what's happening. And he also is like kind of asserting the whole idea of, you know, I came down here, took you on my first date. I want to have clarity to explore, like, because I want to see, like, if I'm coming back to this, like, you know, whatever. Because she's all like, well, you know, I don't want to explore with anybody else. So, and it's my birthday. So, like, I kind of, you know, would want you to want to spend the day with me. But, you know,
nope.
Whatever. And so Davia takes him on the date, because then she's talking, when like they're having this talk, Davia's talking to the other girls, and she's like, well, blah blah blah, like Tanner, when I was talking to him, didn't make it seem like, you know, that their connection was as strong as Kat's making it seem like. So am I in the wrong here? And everyone's like, no, like, you came down here with the date card, like, people got to do what they got to do, like, obviously it's Kat's birthday, but whatever. And so they go on this date. They're vibing, they're having dinner, they're dancing, they're making out. We're like going in between. Now, during this whole part, we're pretty much like bouncing in between scenes of like them having an amazing time on their date, and then Kat like losing her fucking mind, sobbing, getting her birthday cake and sobbing, asking for a pinata because she wants to hit something. And then, funny enough, pinata, Brayden and Rachel come back and throw candy, and then they set up a real pinata, and she beats the shit out of it. And meanwhile, Brayden's all like, I'm gonna be honest, like, part of me feels kind of good.
Yeah.
That this is what we're getting.
I feel like I'm Brayden right now in real world, like, you know what I'm saying? So I understand how he feels. Like, this has got to be such a good feeling. But like, that's what paradise is. Like, you'll have good days and you'll have bad days where you feel like you're the king, or you're just watching everyone else destruct, and then some days you're destructing. So you know, you got to take your wins where you can. And so Brayden's enjoying watching this.
Yeah, he's enjoying. He's like, you know, like, he's like, Kat's crazy. Like, he's like, this is like, you know, a sick part of me enjoys the fact that she's getting her karma. And like even Aaron B says, he's all like, I don't feel bad for Kat. Like, this is karma. Like, this is just literally, this is karma. And then, like, to try to like spice up the night,
it's produced karma. Let's just be real here, though. Like,
it is totally produced. I mean, that's what this whole show is.
Yeah,
is produced karma. But to spice up the night, Sam gets introduced to the truth box as Wells is putting it back together, taping it back together, and she decides that, you know, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play truth or dare, like, with the group. And so everyone's doing truths or dares. A lot of guys are doing dares. Like, Aaron takes a hot pepper for a dare. Brayden gives a lap dance to Jess. Pete kisses Kylie, and she just like, when he gives her a kiss. Mercedes makes out with John Henry, which Olivia's like, what the fuck? And then Kat takes a body shot off of John Henry, which is foreshadowing. And then Olivia, when it's like her turn to, like, she gets the dare of sucking somebody's finger, she goes and sucks John Henry's finger because she's like, I gotta reassert my dominance. I gotta reassert where we at in here. And then Jess gets a truth, and the question is Blake your number one? And she takes a hot second to answer that. She's all like, yes. Like, I have no other connections. Like, Blake's my number one. Yes.
Yikes.
And like everyone's like, and Blake's like, and so like they're like,
did she mention anybody else? Like,
no.
Okay. So,
you know, then they like Olivia and John Henry seem good. They vibe in the pool after the truth and dare. They're having fun, making out, whatever. Blake is talking to Rachel. Once again, this is like, why is Blake talking to everybody but Jess? Blake is talking to Rachel about how he's like, I don't know what the deal with Jess is. Like, now I feel like we're on different pages, like blah, blah, blah. And he, you know, pulls Jess to go talk. And they're talking, and he's like, I feel like I can't be fully in because it seems like you're not fully in. And I thought things were going good between us, but like, you know, whatever. And then she kind of breaks down and is like, you know, I haven't felt like I've been able to fully experience paradise because I've been worried about your feelings and like feeling like I had to make sure I just stayed with our situation because then, you know, when other people like Tanner and Tyler came down, like my friend showed interest in them. And so then I had to worry about my friend's feelings. And now I just don't even know what I want. And like, this is just overwhelming, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and I feel bad because like, I do like you and I want to be able to give you an answer, but I don't know like what answer to give you right now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that she was able to say that because I feel like that's a real feeling on Paradise. You know, there's this like stigma of like the kind of edit you get, like a cat edit, you know, if you're like bouncing around and stuff. But I mean, closed mouths don't get fed, you know? So it's like also that too, but also the friendship of everything. Like you don't want to like be the one like causing rifts in Paradise when everyone's all buddy with each other, you know? So
I feel like I can relate to Jess because I feel like that's a very realistic feeling to feel about like being all like, well, I'm like trying to do things for everybody else and trying to maintain the peace or trying to like, you know, make sure that I'm supporting my friends or supporting like somebody who I do like. But then because she's like, I feel like, you know, I can't explore otherwise because I don't want to hurt your feelings because like this is what we've been doing. But like, she's like, I haven't been able to like fully like even feel like I'm doing Paradise and she's like feeling held back because she feels like there's this expectation of her just being with Blake.
Yeah.
And
so how does Blake take it? What does he say?
And so he's just kind of like, you know, he's feeling a little confused. He's like, I really thought we were good. Like I feel like a little confused on where like you're coming from. And she's like, you know, I really wish I could give you like, you deserve like a straight answer from me, but I just can't do that right now. Like I just don't know. Like this is a lot for me. Like I don't know what to do. And she just kind of, she has to like go, she goes kinds of breaks down like away from him. And like they definitely kind of just end the night being a little uncertain of where they're at. So not a great feeling. And Blake's kind of act is like, you know, like we're at this point of the experience where we got to make moves. And like, you know, I don't want to be wasting my time if she's not in it.
Right. So where do we go with Davia and Tanner?
So Davia and Tanner, so it's the next morning. Davia and Tanner had gotten back real late the previous night. And so now it's time for, you know, conversations to be had. Davia, like everyone's feeling the tension. They're all like, okay, like, cause Davia goes and pulls Kat to talk because, you know, there's the tension there. And so she is talking with Kat and saying how, you know, Tanner made it apparent to her that he wanted to see his connection with other people and how, you know, she's like, because then Kat's like drilling and being all like, well, what did he say about me? What did he say about whatever? What did he say? Like, blah, blah, blah. And Davia's like, you know, like Tanner's hard to read. Like, I can't tell you like exactly how he felt or whatever. I just know that he was having a good time with me. And like, he was expressing that.
Did they kiss?
Oh yeah. They were making out on their date.
Nice.
Like they were like, he was doing lifts. They were doing these dances. They were making out. They were like
vibing.
Yeah, it was definitely, he was definitely having a good time with her. And, you know, and so Davia is like just laying out her case, and Kat is like being like, well, I'm not going to be an option. And so like, if that's what he's feeling, like that's not, obviously we hadn't had an exclusivity talk yet or anything, but it was my birthday and I just didn't expect that and like whatever. And Davia's like, well, I don't know, it was your birthday. And also like, because then she's like, well, are you looking to pursue, like, did he say that he was looking to pursue the connection further with you? Or like, what's the deal? Are you looking to pursue it with him? And she was like, well, like, I wouldn't come down asserting that that's who I liked and only talk to him and take him on the date if I wasn't looking to pursue something with him. So
God,
yeah.
It's like I haven't seen the conversation, but I love your breakdown of it because you sound like what Kat would sound like, and the fact that Davia is talking to Kat like a human being. Like Kat's just so self-absorbed with herself that she's just like, what does it say about me? What does it mean for me? What is it like? It's like,
right.
Well, if you kind of just watch what happened, you know that I'm here for Tanner and you should be worried. So this conversation is pointless.
Right. And then Kat's like, in her little confessional is spiraling and being like, she does her like typical, her excuse for all these situations every time is she keeps saying like, I don't know why I keep being with these boys and not men. And like, I keep wanting these guys who like aren't gonna like choose me. I want to be wanted. I haven't been wanted at all. Like blah, 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 which like Brayden wanted her. Like, so I don't know why she's saying that. Like Brayden like was definitely more in and then she like ditched his ass. And so
because there's no accountability. Like she doesn't act like she would like made that situation,
Right. She's acting like she's being so honest and like forthcoming with her feelings meanwhile when she had that initial conversation while like Tanner was about to go on this date with Davia, she was just being passive aggressive, being like, well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, you're gonna do it. Like that's not being straightforward at all. That's being like, hey, like it's my, like being straightforward would be like, hey, it's my birthday, so I'm feeling a little hurt that you just immediately agreed to go on this date when I thought we were connecting here.
Right. So, I mean, yeah. What does it leave us at the end of the episode?
The episode ends with everybody waiting. Like Tanner finally comes out of the bunk room, and it's time for Tanner and Kat to have a chat. So we're just left on the edge of our seat, being like, "How's that gonna go down now in the light of day?"
What is our previews for next week telling us?
Previews for next week kind of show us that it's looking like the Kat and Tanner thing blow up, and then she's going to start encroaching on Olivia's man of John Henry, and Olivia's not going to be having that. Like, I like Olivia is a dark horse in the sense of like, I don't think you really want to fuck with Olivia. Like, she's trying to like, she had to make a choice, and she's going with it, and like she's feeling good about it, and we are also seeing that Charity's going to come down next week to, give insights to the girls about, some of her ex-boyfriends as she may. And it looks like it might get tough with her conversation with Eliza because, I mean, the whole Airbnb situation was definitely an interesting one from her season.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like John Henry is just going to be weak. Don't take Olivia's kindness for weakness. And I'm excited to see the drama unfold. I hope Kat doesn't successfully steal John Henry because I like Olivia. I like
Olivia and John Henry. They're goofy together. I think that's fun. Like Kat's just like hunk hungry. Like she's just trying to find her next like hot dude that, to make her feel better about the fact that she squandered two of them. Right.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Kat deserves what she's getting right now? Do you think Blake, has been trying hard for Jess? What do you think about the Golden Bachelor? Like, are you just as surprised how far along we are right now that Hometowns is coming up? I want to know all you guys' thoughts below so, we can talk about some of this stuff next week's episode. But yeah, well, V, do you have any other Bachelor Nation news to go over?
2 baby announcements. So Cian Fleming, who was on Ari's season, who, you know, was our original season, watching together, doing this podcast together. She and her husband, Doug Fillmore, are expecting their first baby together, as well as Shanae, one of your favorites, and her boyfriend, Nate Ebner, who used to play for the NFL, are expecting their first child together, a baby girl. So congrats to both couples.
That's wild. That's wild that she just went and got pregnant.
I know.
A little shrimp cocktail. Yo. Anyways, guys, what do you think about all this stuff? Leave us in the comments below, and we'll be back next week for week 6 of Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. V, before we get out of here, do you have any shout outs this week?
Sure. I wanted to shout out, I'll shout out Katie, because I'll be, you know, seeing her this weekend for some Halloween stuff. And I also shout out my friend TJ for, it was his birthday yesterday.
Nice. That's what's up. And I'm going to shout out the comment crew. Anyone that left a comment on this video, you get a shout out.
You get a shout out.
You're the
you
best.
get a shout out.
Oprah shout outs to everyone. Anyways, guys, you know, thanks for tuning in this week. You know, we'll be, like I said, we'll be back next week with some more episodes. And hopefully I have a little bit more time to watch these shows after this weekend of sold out shows will be over. Sweeney Todd is officially done. So thank you all for checking in and tuning in this week. It's your favorite podcast, Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
And I'm Veronica.
And we love you. Deuces.
Bye.